Good morning, guys. So, as you know, I've been on the hunt looking for my biological brother, and unfortunately, I've had zero success. So, I'm starting to think that I'm 98% sure that my brother was probably adopted like I was, and his name was probably changed, and it's going to be extremely hard for me to find him. So, basically, I feel like the only way I'm going to find him is if God puts a desire on his heart to do a DNA test and then it matches us, because otherwise, I don't know, I don't foresee me finding him without him doing the DNA test. So that's where I'm at. But because I'm hoping my brother will test, I do check my ancestry maybe once or twice a week. And sometimes I just don't even check it at all because I forget about it. And then I'm like, oh, let me go see if I got any new matches. And so I did that and I found a new match that I had, and it was a pretty close match. It was a first cousin on my dad's side. So I thought, wow, this is so cool. Like, I have a first cousin. Like, I want to go meet this person. And then as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, wait, like I thought my uncle only had these two children that I already met. Well, not met, but I've spoken to already. So I was confused thinking, well, maybe he had a third child he just didn't talk about, or I don't know. I was just really confused because it must be his child because my dad and him were brothers on my dad's side. And so it was only them two, as far as I know. Like nobody, they don't know about any other children. So I thought that was kind of weird. So I reached out to my match. His name is Ryan. And I email him like, hey, how are you? I see we're first cousins. This is so cool. I'm like, so who's your parent? Is your parent to Cunningham? Like, obviously they must be because we're first cousins. So he doesn't respond to me right away. And so I'm like, okay, let me do some research. So I find him on Facebook. And when I find him on Facebook, I see that we have a mutual friend, which is my uncle. So then I'm like, okay, well, maybe this is his kid. I don't know. Like, because if they're friends on Facebook, like, obviously they're related. And maybe this is his kid. So then I email my uncle and I ask him like, hey, who is this? Like, he just popped up on my ancestry. He's my first cousin on there. I don't know what he is to you, but you know, trying to get the information. He replies back like he has no idea who this person is. He's never spoken to him. He's never seen him. He's like, but I see he grew up where I grew up, and I don't know, like, how is it that I have family and I've never heard from them? So then I'm thinking, well, and I tell him, I said, well, maybe you had a kid that you just didn't know about and you just happened to test an ancestry. I said, you know, just log into your ancestry and it'll tell you if it's a parent-child relationship. And so he's okay, I'm gonna get back to you. You know, he's gonna look into it, whatever. So he's doing that. Then Ryan responds back to me on Facebook and he's like, yo, crazy story. You know, my dad's dad is Native American. And so I did this test, but yet I have no Native American in me. So I'm like, he's like, he just didn't understand what was going on. And then he was saying how he was just confused because he was matching all of these Cunninghams. Now, all the people I had test for me to find my dad are all on Ancestry, and so all of them are matching him, and he was just like super confused. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so crazy. And so my first thought to him, I said, hey, like, do you think your dad is your dad? Like, do you know 100%? And he said, absolutely. He said, we look exactly like I know my dad's my dad. Like, there's no doubt. So then I'm like, if that's the case, then my uncle can't be his father. So then I'm like, okay. But he did mention that, you know, he doesn't think his grandfather is his grandfather because A, there's no Native American. B, he said that nobody really resembles his grandfather. And so I was like, wow, that's crazy. So as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, wait a second. If we're first cousins and my uncle is not your father, then that means that my grandfather is probably your grandfather. So then I'm thinking, well, clearly my uncle and my dad are brothers with your dad. Like, that must be the answer. We totally share the same grandfather. And so it took him a minute to like wrap his head around it. But he was like, what? Like, that's crazy. Like, wow. Like, he just couldn't believe it. And so I sent him some pictures of my grandfather, of my father. And so he's looking at these pictures and he's like, oh my gosh, like, sending them to his mom. His mom's like, wow. He's like, you know, she's like, you look like, you know, she felt like my cousin looked like my dad. And, you know, they could see the resemblances in my grandfather. And so slowly by little, like, he's realizing like, oh my gosh, like, I think this is my grandfather. Like, my grandfather's your grandfather. So crazy. So what's even crazier is that he grew up in Pennsylvania, which is, you know, where the whole family's from. I grew up in New York because I was adopted and, you know, whatever. But the funny thing is that I now live in California, and so does my cousin Ryan. I'm like, that's so crazy. Small world. Like, you live in California? Like, he literally lives probably like 35, 40 minutes away from me. What was even crazier is that he's in the industry. And I'm like, you're in the industry? I said, you do realize we have another cousin that lives here in California who's also in the industry, which is kind of funny. And so, and then I'm like, and then I used to be in the industry, you know, so I'm like, how crazy is it that the three of us are cousins? We all live in LA. We're all in the industry, yet we've never come across each other, which kind of makes sense because for me, like, I was really doing just more modeling, not so much acting, but more modeling, print stuff, videos, you know, calendars, that type of thing. And so Ryan is trying to get into acting and doing those sort of things. And then my other cousin Monique, you know, she writes a lot, she teaches, and I believe she also does acting. So it's like we all are in the industry, but in like different realms of it. So I don't know, I just thought that was kind of bizarre, but also really cool at the same time. So I'm like, clearly the entertainment gene comes from the Cunningham line, which is really cool. Anyways, so after talking to him, of course, since we live in the same state, and only like 35, 40 minutes away, we decided we totally have to meet. And so I'm going to be meeting him today. We're going to Six Flags Magic Mountain, which is funny because I hate roller coasters, but I'm a season pass holder there. My son wanted to go, my husband wanted to go. And so we had already made plans to go. And as I was talking to my cousin Ryan, he's like, I'm a season pass holder there too. He's like, so we should all just go. So I'm like, totally, let's go. So I'm really excited because I'm going to meet him later today, and I'm going to bring you guys on this journey with me. And I'm just so excited to have a first cousin that lives here in California that is blood related. Of course, I love my family that's not blood related, but it's just cool to have, you know, more family. And I just love that it's also on my dad's side because, again, like, I know my whole mom's side. I've met like most of my family. I love them to death. But I also just want to learn about my black side of my family because my mom's side is white, my dad's side is black. So I'm just excited to just learn more about that side of the family and just that part of my culture. So I'm just excited to see what happens. I'm excited to see if we even look alike or if we have the same mannerisms. I don't know. I'm just really excited. So we'll see what happens. I do know he loves roller coasters and I hate them. So that's obviously one thing we don't have in common. But my son is obsessed with roller coasters. So I'm like, you guys will have so much fun. But then again, I think his girlfriend's coming with him, my son's girlfriend. So he probably won't want to really hang out with us. But whatever. I'm so excited, so I will be checking in with you guys later to let you come along with me while I meet my cousin. Okay, I'm about to go get my cousin Ryan outside right now. I'm so excited and nervous, and my house is a mess. Every time I have people over, my house is always messy. So, let's go see. The sun is gonna make me look horrible. Let me see if I can see him. I see him! I'm so excited, I wanna go meet him right now. So I just got to meet my cousin Ryan.
I'm here somewhere. There I go.
We just got to Six Flags. We're gonna do a quick family day with my son and my new cousin and my husband and his girlfriend. So yes.
It's about to have some fun.
Dark in here. So we just finished our day at Six Flags. We're about to eat this funnel cake. This is why I came here. I got on no rides. They got on all the roller coasters. I'm about to pig out on this yummy funnel cake. So today went really well. I'm super tired. It's kind of late. It's like 10:30 and I'm exhausted, but I had so much fun meeting my cousin. It was totally cool. And what's even cooler is that he showed me a picture of his dad, and he literally looked just like my uncle that I just found. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, this is so crazy how much they look alike. Like, there's no denying that they're brothers. And what's even cooler is I sent the picture to my uncle's daughter, which is also our first cousin, and she was like, wow. Like, at first she thought it was her other uncle, and so when she asked me, is that such and such, I was like, who's such and such? And she's like, oh, my dad's brother. And I said, your dad's brother? I'm like, your dad has another brother? And she's like, yeah, he has two other brothers. And so I was like, on his dad's side or on his mom's side? And she said on his dad's side. So I was like, what? I have two more uncles that I didn't even know about. I was like, are they alive? And she's like, yes. So that was even more exciting to find out that not only do I have my uncle that I found, and now my new first cousin that I found's father, I also have two other uncles. So now I've just gained four uncles that I had no idea about, which is super cool. So I'm excited about that. Six Flags went great. I got on 0 rides, but my cousin had a lot of fun with my son and my husband and my son's girlfriend, so everything went really well. So I'm excited. And not only did we have fun today, my cousin also loves Disney. I don't know if he loves it as much as I do, but we are going to be going to Disneyland together for my birthday. So I'm so excited because I wanted to go to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween, and I couldn't find anybody to go with me. And so when I brought it up to him, he was like, yeah, just send me the date and we're totally going. So I'm so excited about that. So today turned out to be super awesome. I'm so excited. I'm so tired, so I'm gonna go to bed, but today turned out to be awesome. So I'm excited to meet more family members that pop up in my DNA, wherever that may come from. I don't know, but I'm really excited about that. And I'm also excited about hopefully finding my brother at some point. So thank you guys so much for following me and watching, and make sure you are subscribed to my channel, and if you're not, subscribe below, and if you have any questions, leave them down below, and I will talk to you guys later.